Welcome back to RGR, folks. We are happy because this craft show is taking another step forward. We've given you a lot of beer reviews, but today we're going to go through some tastings together live, at least for us. You guys will see this later, but my partner in crime, Mike Munhall. How are you, Mike?
Good, Ryan. How you doing?
You know, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to drink first. So you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think this is going to be it. Folks from Lupulin up in Minnesota, Sophistry or Sophistry? I'm not sure.
Sophistry? Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, Sophie, you're going to tell us. So while you pour that, I'll explain, folks.
Sure.
Lupulin up in Minnesota ran into these guys at GABF 2019. And I know it's been a while. So if you guys end up seeing this, I'll recontact you about trying to put a lot of your beers on here. But we bought this one. We wanted to make sure that we got it in there. And we're doing this blind because we want to give you guys a little bit more of a live take on what's going on. This is a Citra and Amarillo concoction that I love the sound of, with 2-row white wheat, flaked rye, Pilsner, and unmalted white wheat. That's got to add a nice little raw aspect to it, I'm guessing. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to crack mine, and we'll see how this pours real quick, because I am looking forward to not only this beer, but a lot from this particular brewery. One of my really happily found breweries at GABF of 2019. The last time I got to do something in person there, I kind of missed that, to tell you the truth. So it pours hazy.
Sure does.
And that's okay.
Yeah. I'm going into this completely blind.
Good.
You dropped this beer off on my porch. I stuck it in my fridge, and I haven't thought about it since 10 minutes ago when we got it out. I have no idea what I'm getting into here.
So, folks, we are following COVID protocols. We are not drinking together. It is porch stops.
Yeah. So, I'm going to wait for your tasting notes here, but here's what I'm interested in on this. I'm reading the back of the can, of course. So this is Sophistry 7. So they explore the possibilities of what hop flavors can be. So I actually like that. I like these kinds of series, where it's every year there's some sort of different hop profiles or, whatever it is. I think that's really fun. I like that. And coincidentally, points for them, points for me, really. Citra and Amarillo. My two favorite hops.
It's made for you almost.
I know. It's crazy. And flaked rye. So I don't know what the flaked is going to get, but I do like rye in beers. I never really considered putting rye into an IPA. But whatever. I like what rye gives you, that kind of that spiciness. So I haven't really given this a good taste yet. So,
and I like the flaked aspects. They're a little easier to work with. They don't gum up as bad when you use flaked rye rather than regular. I've only played with it a couple of times, and I prefer the flaked. I actually considered putting this in my Kolsch this year. I do a Thanksgiving Kolsch every year, this time of year every year. But I actually ended up with oats this time. Changed that up a little bit. But this, my first impression off the nose is huge, and not the Citra bite that I was expecting. Like, it feels more even keeled. The combination is not what I expected. It must be the late hopping and the dry hop.
Well, that's interesting, because I do get it. It's a citrus bomb to me. Actually, a bomb is going to be, that's not the right word. It's not a bomb, but I do get a lot of heavy citrus and lemon.
Yeah, I get more lemon than anything. And when I meant Citra, not citrus. Sorry.
Okay.
It feels more even keeled between the two hops is what I'm saying.
For sure. Absolutely. I was not expecting this to be as hazy as it is. Mm-hmm. That's no points off in any way.
Normally it would be for me.
Was it? I know you don't like the hazies.
I'm not, but I'll tell you why I wanted to drink this one, because Lupulin is one of the few hazies that I've had, again, at GABF, that I actually enjoyed, because I don't get any vegetal. I don't get anything later on that even hints at it. This seems clean. It's obviously not as bitter as I would like. I'm a West Coast IPA guy, but it doesn't give me any of the negative drawbacks. And it almost comes off like a hef in terms of its smoothed out.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It really does. It's that mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. There's almost like a heavy mouthfeel to there, to this beer. It's interesting that this is 50 IBUs, and There's not a lot of bitterness there. A little bit more on the back end, but I don't get a lot of bitterness in this beer at all.
No, I don't either.
For an IPA, I would expect more. It's there, but it's more on the back end, isn't it?
And it's got, it's almost like my wife's big on Prosecco mimosas. This is almost, it's not the heavy orange. It's almost like a lemon Prosecco mimosa kind of thing as it calms out. And I really like that. And again, kudos to them. I do believe that kind of heft thing that I get in terms of the smoothness of it, it's got to come from the unmalted wheat. That's my guess anyway. So they have white and they have unmalted white. So good for them. I think that combination gives that kind of that rusticness to it almost.
I would have liked the head to have lasted a little bit longer. You have a glass that's going to promote a little bit more head. Yeah, mine not so much. But yeah, I especially with the wheat in there, I kind of would have expected that head to last a little longer.
Are you in a tulip?
I am.
Okay.
Yep.
So folks, this is that Rostel Craftmaster that I always use. This is literally my favorite glassware for anything, bigger than a tasting pour, 8 ounces or more. This is what I'll use. And that's part of it. And so working with this particular grain bill seems like it was probably a little bit more time consuming in terms of checking yourself. The unmalted, I would really be interested to see what their, I doubt this was just your standard 152 1 hour mash rest is my guess. And Lupulin, if you're watching, you can contact me and I'd love to go through it. But the other thing that sets me back on this is kind of that juicy, like, you could do this as a brunch beer very easily and fit in with everything else, right? But this is 8%. And that caught me off guard a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. It'd be a little bit hard to do this. You know what? Actually, this is exactly what you and I would have for brunch if we were hanging out together. Let's just be honest about that. But,
absolutely.
But yeah, I think if you're going to have a brunch beer, generally it's going to be a little bit less than 8%.
Yeah. Knock on wood. But yeah, my brunch would get quick fast. Oh, yeah. And it lingers. Like you said, I'm getting a little bit more head, continual production of some aromas. And that really works for this beer.
So what do you know about Lupulin? This is I've known this brewery, but I don't go out of my way to find their beers. But obviously you've met them and you like their beers enough. Yeah. Tell me about Lupulin. What do you know about them?
Well, the thing that stuck out to me is when they were pouring at GABF, I was there early. It was one of the press sessions. So it was before it got really crazy, and had a long conversation about not only the beers that they were pouring that night, but their general philosophy. And I really dig that because being somebody that starts on a West Coast as a point of view for an IPA. And they are very obviously from the name of the brewery, there's a lot of IPAs in their portfolio. But a good conversation came from that. I don't know if everybody's still there that I spoke to then, so we'll just leave names out for now. But the process of evolving from what was a classic to the new style, and then clearly to this, which is probably the evolution that I'm still waiting for to pass by in terms of the hazies, but I think they're past the fad at this point. And I think Lupulin's got a nice portfolio that covers the gamut. It's not the bitter bombs. It's not the triple IPAs, which I think at this point is pretty much overblown, but getting flavor at less ABV at less time in terms of throwing everything into the kettle. I like what they do, and I look forward to drinking them more. I haven't been there. Big Lake, I used to travel to Minnesota for work. I haven't been to Big Lake, but it's definitely on my list if and when we go.
Yeah, be fun. I'm willing to visit any brewery in any city that we travel to for sure.
Which is cool because you're not an IPA guy. So for you, where does this sit in the gamut of what you do like in IPAs?
You know, it's funny. I've always said I'm like not an IPA guy, but as I'm trying to get past my Belgian only phase, right, which has lasted, a good 8 years. I got to get over it now. I'm enjoying IPAs more and more and more, right? I used to shy away from West Coast IPAs. Just that really heavy bitterness was just too much. It just wasn't enjoyable for me. Hazies, haven't gotten into them. but whatever. I'm not going to turn one down if somebody hands me one. I do like those just well-balanced IPAs, right? A good amount of bitterness. Anything that really showcases the hop aroma and flavor that's the kind of IPA I really like. And I'm warming up to the more West Coast style IPAs as well, right? That bitterness is just fine. It's just that over the top bitterness is what I try to avoid. But so where this would rank for, me as an IPA drinker, I would say this is, I would pick up a 6-pack of this if I found it. Mm-hmm. For sure. Right. The things that I like about this is that it really does showcase the, both the flavor and the aroma of the Amarillo and the Citra hops. That's really important to me. I like that a lot. It's funny. I would actually like more bitterness in this. I would like it to be a little bit more bitter. And I really like a nice, clean, good-looking beer. That is the thing that I don't like about hazies. They're not very visually attractive to me, right? And that matters. That's one of the sensory things that I like about beer, right? It's not just about the taste, the flavor, the aroma. It's a visual thing too. So I would love for this to be a little bit more clear. I don't know if it needs to be hazy the way it is right now, or maybe that's the intention. I don't know. But yeah, overall, solid 6 of 10. I'll pick up this beer and drink it again. Things I would love to see differently, but can't complain. If this is what they set out to do, good on them. They made a good beer.
Well, I'll say this: when you look at the color, it does have that kind of, again, mimosa look to it. Like it's definitely orange. It's deeper, but you don't see any dinginess. And give them credit. I had to check the bottom of the can. This was canned a little over 2 months ago as we drink it tonight. And it has maintained what I think is a color that they designed for it to maintain. A lot of times you get hazies and they start to get dingy pretty quick. That means obviously exposure to oxygen is always part of the problem. This is a professional brewer who's been doing things for a very long time, and more credit to him. But to have it sit a hazy for that long, even if you're using a mobile canner that maybe isn't able to get all the way down on their DO, this is important. I think this is a quality beer, no way around it, whether it's your style or not. Cheers to them, because I think they did a very good job with it.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Well, folks, let us know if you're a fan of Lupulin or you work for Lupulin. Let us know. Leave your comments down below, because we'd like to know what you have to say about not only this particular beer, Sophistry, and I hope that I'm pronouncing that right, but also the hazy craze in general. Let us know your thoughts, and we'd like to hear from you as much as possible. We have a ton coming for you. We have some Christmas beer reviews, or what I call Christmas beers, winter warmers. There's a whole series of those. We have a couple more reviews for you too, and we're going to get back into the techniques as we move past some of these things right now. So thanks for watching us today. We appreciate your time. Make sure you like and sub and hit that bell notification, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers. Be good.